Last week, iDubbbz dropped a content cop reviving the series after not too long ago he disavowed it and distanced himself from it. Although before it was dropped, when we only had the teaser, many were speculating on who it could be. Now we all know the subject, I'm sure by now, and it was Ethan Klein. This got a largely mixed reaction on the internet, with some people understanding where Ian is coming from, claiming that Ethan was being way too emotional and demanding, and something like this is just the natural consequences of that. With others furious at iDubbbz, upset at the fact that Ian didn't mention a single time any of the harassment Ethan has been going through, such as the CPS call on his children. Welcome to the internet versus Content Cop H3. All relevant videos will be linked in the description, so obviously it starts with the video, but then Denims took to Twitter when she tweeted out, "Wake up, Ethan," and attaches this picture of her with iDubbbz, Frogan, and Shonda Black. Sean replies, "This one is sick," and Denim says, "I know, right?" Hyperjumper replies, "Dies from cringe." Ririgaki says, "What is this?" Ghostly Ghost replies, "Damn, he got Hijaba the Hutt." Steven Gerben replies with this drawing of all of them in the intro of the Content Cop. Triggerpoint tweets out this picture from the video when Hassan shows up with the caption, "Turned off in record time." Free Runs Princess replies, "How does Ian type this description and not realize he is deep in the radical left echo chamber?" And shows all the creators that were featured in the video: Hassan, Denims, Shonda Black, Frogan, Kirk, Noah Sampson, and Matt Lieb. Cobalt replies, "It's like Smash Bros, but for unsufferable leftists." Lucas Fryman says, "Trolls remorse is a hell of a drug." Rev says Desi replies to the original post by saying, "I was skipping around and landed on roughly the 5220 mark where he discusses Hassan's America deserved 9/11 comment. iDubbbz scolds Ethan for calling it an edgy joke and says he should have acknowledged it as Hassan being extremely frustrated and passionate about the topic." Abel replies to this picture in the caption, "iDubbbz on Hassan's dick right now." Turkey Tom tweets out this screenshot from the video and captions it by saying, "I can't believe what I'm watching right now. This isn't really Content Cop, it's just Ian's personal beef with Ethan as far as I can tell." And Smackle replies, "You keep watching and it keeps getting worse," attaching this image of them all dancing along with this one. The Act Man replies, "Was it everything you hoped for?" Prince of the Fall replies, "He had to make this video to convince Hassan to fuck his wife." Bouncer Connor tweets out another picture of all of them in the caption. Ethan said, "Hey bro, I'm being harassed and people are sending CPS to my house. Can you say that's bad?" And Ian said, "Nah, I'm gonna hang out with people who think Hamas is base and flick you off in an hour-long video because my wife is 8% Lebanese." Howling Mutant replies, "Seriously bro? In front of my 8% Lebanese wife?" And in our members-only Discord, Epic Toe replies to this image by saying, "Now with Sean here, Ian can say the N-word all day, every day. And you watching may have been gifted a membership too." Over 400 of our viewers and subscribers were gifted memberships during the recent docuthon that we just did. If you check below and you see perks next to the subscribe button, that means you have a membership, so join the Discord in the description. It's a public Discord for everybody, but there's a specific members only section where tier 2 and higher members can weigh in on upcoming topics and have a chance to be featured in upcoming videos. If you didn't get a gift, we'd still love to have you join the Discord and the membership program today, so sign up and become a reply guy. But anyway, back to the video. Turkey Tom tweets out, "Overall thoughts on the Content Cop after letting my thoughts stew for a day. Wasn't really Content Cop at all. None of the biting criticism of old. Don't remember any jokes that landed, if any at all. The only thing that was reminiscent was the opening. The opening itself I think was kind of lame as well. I used to enjoy seeing Ian chase around some other fool in the woods with them vaguely dressed as his target, but this time it was just him alone. At the risk of sounding cringe, I think this was kind of a disrespect to the Content Cop name, like it or not. Used to mean something." Greffin replies in our members only Discord by saying, "It feels obviously insane to leave out all the CPS/Bad Empanada stuff from the video, as well as the fact that Anissa was interacting with Froggy Tonic while he was making all those tweets. So much so that the Content Cop veers into smear piece territory." Turkey Tom made the point that maybe Ian just got all his talking points from a group chat with all the people he cited in the description, rather than actually watching any of H3's videos. But even that seems too charitable of an interpretation, as you can't leave all that context out without being malicious IMO. M. Katoran tweets out, "iDubbbz really dragged out Content Cop's corpse from the shed he killed it in, only to turn it into a soapbox for that millionaire artist Nepo baby to backstab his former friend because despite agreeing with 99% of their retarded views, he disagreed on Palestine." Not Cerebral replies, "Heartwarming. The worst people you know are all fighting." Eagle tweets out, Idubbbz bringing back Content Cop could be seen as cringe, except it's about Ethan Klein and that's fucking hilarious and allowed. And Tragedy Man replies, Ethan Klein is a dipshit, but Ian is a C for throwing his friend of 10 years, one of the only people who had his back during the entire internet, shitting on him over his several controversies, under the bus to try to gain a footing with Hassan's fanbase. And JD says, I know you probably have no experience with a real-life friendship, but maybe Ethan shouldn't have been such an annoying shithead that he publicly shat on Ian et al. Over the past year. I don't even watch these people regularly and I know how much of an ass he's been. Keemstar tweets out, new Content Cop sucks. And Medicare quotes him by saying, all I keep hearing about it is that it's shit, has Hassan in it for far too long, and that he cries at the end. What the fuck? Sakrina replies, too long didn't watch. Deep Throat Microphone defends 9/11, cries about wife being bullied. Bad Banner replies with this gif of Idubbbz deep throating the microphone. And Medicare quotes it by saying, Ethan, look what my wife's boyfriend taught me. And Sakrina replies, the worst part is I think that's Hassan's actual microphone. Jack Valentine says, guy looks like a junkie without all the fun of taking drugs. Chef's Last Ride tweets out this picture in the caption. Idubbbz teaming up with Hassan Piker and the rest of the special needs class to make a Content Cop on H3H3 is so fucking funny. The relic has claimed another. Sagittaria Jefferson says, I'm not usually so superstitious, but the medallion really does something seemingly. Willie Mackshaw tweets out this screenshot from the Content Cop with the caption, best part of the Content Cop is Ian crying to the therapist at the end about couples getting made fun of online. Here's the proof, and attaches this clip that Dick Masterson tweets out with the caption, what the fuck is this shit? Bro, you have bigger problems than politics.
You know, I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Neil. I'm like, fuck, like, it's really hard to be, a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, if that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
Bo Blacks replies, it's been 5 years and he's still crying about the hate. MacBot replies to this picture of the therapist in the caption, I should have charged a way higher fee for this. And Dick Masterson says, who is that poor bastard? And MacBot replies, the man who ostensibly graded Ethan's apology to some streamer and scored him an A+. That's a job these days, apparently. Back to Willie Mac Show, N7 Ghostfire replies by saying, so in Ian's world, it's okay for people to make false claims of child abuse and call in CPS to annihilate a family because of internet drama, but him and his dumb wife being mocked online is a horrific thing. What a snake. Kura tweets out this comment left on the Content Cop video with the caption, watch the new Idubbbz Content Cop, and this comment is the perfect definition of how I felt. And it's Pib Pasquale saying, I like this Content Cop not because of what it's talking about, but for the overwhelming sense of relief I get when it dawns on me that I'm disconnected from these people and their feelings. And Kura continues the thread by saying, I remember watching him in his old Content Cops when I was more of a prepubescent teen, and I can't believe how easily I moved on from him and all the people around them. I liked Idubbbz as an entertainer, but as a person, Dojangles tweets out, who Ian used to pull for Content Cop cameos versus who he pulls now, attaching Post Malone and comparing it to Frogan. Bart replies, when was Post Malone in a Content Cop? And Dojingle says, Rice Scum Part 2. Pew replies with these images comparing Frogan to the pot of greed. Yeet tweets out this clip of Frogan with the caption, Frogan cries on stream and ponders if karma is real. Says she's okay with losing her career over Ethan's bullshit because she stayed true to her morals.
And to be quite honest, it's very hard to look at, karma will make its way. To me, it's very hard to look at it that way. I wish I had that point of view. You know what I mean? Because you see the shittiest fucking people at the top. I don't know if I believe in karma. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if I had to lose my career over this bullshit, at least I can say I was consistent in my views, and I have been consistently against genocide, and it consistently uplifted the Palestinian people. Others can't say that, but I can.
Simp for Frogan.
And I feel like such a bitch for crying, but it's just like, like you sit and reflect, and it's just like, what the fuck, dude? There are some days I just sit and I'm just like, I'm just like I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? You know what I mean?
And Nicholas Diorio replies, she has a job? And Harley Morenstein says, I asked you the same thing. Celtics replies to the clip by saying, stay true to her morals? Yeah. Wishing trauma and PTSD on veterans. Her morals are being a complete utter dogshit human. Electric Counter 83 posts in the Hassan Piker subreddit, Content Cop is already on track to surpass a Content Nuke's views in a single day. Loving this. Attaching this image is showing 3.3 million views on a Content Nuke and the same amount in one day on Content Cop. Ian himself then tweets out the picture we looked at earlier with the caption, DEI dubs. And Real Greg replies, should have just kept calling people slurs. Richter Shoe says, nightmare blunt rotation. Nerd Angler replies, circling the sword that iDubbbz is holding with the caption, Ian, what do you see here? Rose Dark replies, Ichigo is Kamas. And Nerd says, half Quincy. You know the ones in the white uniforms where status is determined by blood, who fled to the Wandenreich in defeat and have many other German-inspired names? But it's just an anime sword, guys. Nothing to see here. Koro says, engagement baits, but anyway. Attaching this image of a sword from Bleach. And Onimu quote tweets iDubbbz and says, Swastikana becomes a skinhead. New Content Cop is on a Jew. What did he mean by this? Local Trash Panda replies, that's Sanjetsu from Bleach. It's held as the Manji symbol from Buddhist religion. It was appropriated by the Party during World War II. Let's not just make stuff up or misunderstand stuff to make Ethan look like a tool. It's not that hard. And Anonimu says, dude, I just looked it up. That's gay. That's like 100% everything he said was gay and retarded. But then on the H3 subreddit, H3 Poocast posts this clip with the caption, Hassan calling his sword the swastika one. Saw these timestamps in another post.
I want the normal, this one. The normal one without the... This one's sicker. Wait, that's a little sus. That's weird.
Questionable.
Bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It immediately goes for the swastika one. Got it.
I like this already much better.
Used Opening 78 replies, please let Ethan see this. And Para Espinosa says, can people post this to Fox Moi and YouTube drama and livestream fail and see them excuse it and still pretend that Jews be crazy or weaponizing anti-Semitism? And Dan Below replies, it's a symbol from Hinduism, Buddhism. Meanwhile, Hassan is white AF and doesn't even know the anime. I get finding it an oddity and laughing about it, but why would you want that in your house? Common Cloud replies, wow. So he was fully aware and even calls it his swastika sword? The gaslighting from this man is insane. The whole thing reminds me of that old show, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Courage is always screaming about the monster, trying to warn everyone, while the monster just plays innocent and pretends nothing's wrong. Meanwhile, the people around him, like Mural and Eustace, just tell him to stop yapping, completely missing what's really going on. That's exactly what this feels like. OK Marketing 9172 replies to OP by saying, people look at Jews crazy when they call things anti-Semitic, like that pic with a swastika sword, and then it turns out to be correct. And Neojin replies, I won't be surprised if Hassan does that on purpose to try to make Ethan look unhinged. Moonbee posts on the Leftovers H3 subreddit, Hassan tries to decipher the Bleach sword argument and attaches this clip.
That sucks that's the only option, right? Arab communities.
He said you're a Nazi because you have a Bleach sword with a swastika, but don't even watch Bleach. He flipped out about your Bleach sword. And that you don't even watch Bleach. First of all, I've read Bleach and I didn't read the whole thing. I'm not like the biggest fan, self-admittedly. I never watched the anime, but I did get the sword at an anime convention on camera because it was fucking cool. It is pretty funny though that he spent 25 minutes talking about your Bleach sword. The crew agreed it was anti-Semitic to ask him to talk to Sam, Zach specifically. Yeah, I don't care what the crew agrees to, okay? Oh, he pulled up clips of you saying you don't watch it. Yeah, it's not, what? What is the argument? He begged the crew to find him clips of you talking about Bleach, so they clips of you saying, I don't watch Bleach, to prove that you only got the sword because it has a swastika on it and you're a Nazi. That's awesome. He said some shit like, see Hassan, this is how you watch videos criticizing you? Wait, what? Did he watch my response to it or something? Is that why? He went on for ages about how you're a fake anime fan. You don't even like One Piece because you haven't watched it all according to him. I did. I finished One Piece. He said you LARP as an anime watcher. Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I find this kind of stuff really funny where he just like lies about the dumbest shit. Like, yeah, dude, I LARP as an anime watcher. I'm not a real one. Yeah. Fake glasses, not a real anime head. Like what purpose would this serve? Why would I lie about this? What is it a good thing to be an anime fan? It's so stupid. The how you react is because you said he paused too much and said you react lazy basically compared to him. Yeah, no, panic pausing every 12 seconds so your audience can't decipher a single coherent point that Ian is making in the content cop is exactly how you react to stuff.
Jajam posts in the H3H3 production subreddit Hasan gaslighting his audience about the bleach sword and attaches this gif of someone saying it's going to be a maze. Burple Nurple also posts in the H2 production subreddit the sword is just another tierless dog whistle. Shortly after Idub's video went up and I first saw that people were talking about Ichigo's sword in this sub, I thought it was reaching / overreacting. I commented as such. I, being Japanese, have seen that symbol in many places, at shrines, temples, texts, and yes, in anime. Now, more people have been looking at it. The recent episode finding how Hasan isn't even a fan and hadn't watched Bleach as of a few months ago, and how there were several other swords in Hasan's room to pick from, as pointed out by another Redditor. I truly think that this is just another tier list moment, where Ian and his new best friends are making a subtle jab at Ethan. Choosing the sword with the quote-unquote swastika hilt over the several other available swords was, in my mind, a deliberate choice, but with plausible deniability. They probably thought if anyone pointed it out, they could just say that, oh, it's got nothing to do with the symbol. It's from an anime. You guys are psychos, or something like that. In all honesty, it could be a gotcha thing to further perpetuate how Ethan is crashing out, how paranoid he is, and that he needs help. He tweets out this clip of Nicholas Diori with the caption, Nick thinks items in the crew chose to use Hasan's swastika sword in the content cop for nefarious purposes.
I want the normal, this one. The normal one without this one's sicker. Wait.
No way, dude. No fucking way. He gestures down toward it. This one's sicker, dude.
Wait, that's a little sus.
It's sus, bro. Why is it sus?
That's questionable. Bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It immediately goes for the swastika one.
It was on purpose. They did it on purpose. I'm sorry. I think they did it on purpose. That's my personal opinion. They knew it looked like a swastika, and they posed with it. Dude, they did it on purpose. No, that's how I view it now. That's my personal opinion on this. It's a dog whistle. Dude, these guys... Dude, I'm sorry, bro. We've watched videos where people have called me dog whistler and shit like this for fucking years by these exact types of people. They took a fucking situation where they're being called... anti-Semitic, and they posed with a sword that they view as the swastika sword. That was on purpose, 100%. Do not even argue with me about this. This is ridiculous.
Immediately goes for the swastika one. Got it.
I like this already much better.
Wow.
Nick then quote tweets this clip with the caption, Hasan Piker has literally called me a fucking crypto-fascist live on stream before, and he owns a swordstick. I'm sorry, bro. Literal alt-writers dog whistle less than this. Here's what they think of Ethan discussing anti-Semitism. I'm sure it's because Hasan loves the anime he hadn't seen as of 4 months and not for any other reason. Aiden quote tweets the clip by saying, this is retarded, and Diorio replies, the plausible deniability comes from them not knowing or realizing the sword looks like a swastika. Now having the clip of Hasan referring to it as the swastika sword on camera, alongside clips of him saying he hasn't seen the show around 4 months prior, I think it's reasonable to conclude that this was done on purpose. If this was any moderately right-leaning creator, there would be a no question. They'd be called a dog-whistling crypto-fascist. Kiko says in our members-only Discord, the Idub's content cop was terrible, clearly very biased and bad faith. He did not mention anything about CPS or anything about Bad Empanada. Then Ethan Klein reacted to the whole thing on a stream, which obviously if you want to watch his reaction, this is the video and it's also linked in the description. And Drama Alert tweets out one of his initial reactions with the caption, Ethan Klein reacts to Idub's content cop featuring all of his enemies.
Unreal.
Pretty wild.
And it's just so pathetic too. Like, talk about a bandwagon. Like, bro, this is the edgy, cool content you're trying to make a play to like fucking warm up to. By the way, Idubs, Lena's fucking having a panic attack because why would you do this and not even tell her? Like, why would you invite someone on the show and do this? It's just fucking mean-spirited. I can't, I'm genuinely in disbelief. I am genuinely in disbelief. And by the way, I know all the criticism that all these people level against me, and there's no shot that this video holds any fucking water. I'll watch the whole thing. I don't give a fuck. Oh, and great, you got psychology in Seattle. My 10 out of 10 perfect apology.
It could be in jeopardy, dude.
This is actually...
It could be in jeopardy.
This is actually fucking unbelievable. People were like, oh, he's doing a content cop. I was like, oh, okay. The best guess I heard was like, oh, maybe he's doing it on Kick. I can't believe how fucking insane this is.
Gato Fumadar tweets out, we stuck our necks out defending Idub's wife having an OF. Why won't they defend our sport for Israel during an ethnic cleansing?
I mean, people that watch this show know how much like I've stood up for him during that whole time when like the entire internet was accusing Anissa of being like some succubus, and the amount that we went to bat for him, stuck our necks out for him.
And then West quote tweets Gotcha's original post with the caption, there's a weird MAGA-like delusion around what Ethan actually thinks about Israel-Palestine. Oshino Hose replies, no it isn't, and West says exactly what I'm talking about. Savina replies, QAnon energy, and West says, there are so many people on the left, often related to a certain somebody, who are just morally lucky to not be QAnon magatards. Slazak replies, he said West Bank settlers were legitimate targets. That position alone is to the left of 90% of Americans. Xanos tweets out this clip with the caption, huge Ethan W.
Like, me making this video is the standing up for something. And
You're
it's
right,
saying,
man.
fuck you. You guys are being bad. You know, I don't think you're bad people, but you're being bad.
I think, actually, let me say, I think you're bad people. I think you and Anissa are disgusting, evil, rotten people that have capitalized on a dog pile to add to an insane harassment campaign that's been leveled against me. You guys took the opportunity to jump on top, take an easy dub to try to revitalize your dead fucking career, because you're about to do Creator Clash 3, which is obviously going to be a disaster, and you are preparing for that eventuality, and you're using me as a stepping stone. But guess what? This stepping stone is loose, bitch, and it's like one of those trap stepping stones where you step on it, but it goes in the water and you fall into the swamp. That's what he stepped on. Oh, trapped him.
Spirit DeCorp says, I understand why people might not like Ethan Klein for what he did, and being a severe case of Charles remorse, but ever since he grew his spine back, he has been giving out banger after banger. And Zano says, he's not perfect. There's definitely things you can criticize the guy on, but the fact is he's been treated absolutely terribly, unfair, and gaslit by the far left extremists. I hope he sues and wins against Noah Sampson, and he's already destroyed Ian in his last stream. Dojangles quote tweets the clip by saying, current seat availability for Creator Clash 3. Available seats are in blue. They have a better chance of booking up the local Chili's at this point. Beast Ghost replies, the seats cost about $10 less than the stream pass. They're having trouble filling $25 seats for charity. Dojiggle says they couldn't just put their pride aside and just book a smaller venue. Better to do that and actually get money to charity this time. That girl replies with this picture in the caption. That's interesting because when you click on the map, you can see that full sections are sold out and the event is 2 months away still. And Bobby John replies, lol, you are doing the same thing, zooming in to make it look more full. You purposely left out the emptiest sections. Hey, it's Vadim tweets out, Ethan Klein's brain nearly explodes mid-sentence as he attempts to refute the idea he's offering a shitty transactional ultimatum to iDubbbz, but then realizes that's exactly what he's doing and runs with it.
You should be thanking me for even putting your dumbass on my fucking podcast when the whole world hated you and I didn't mind sticking my neck out for you. Oh, is that transactional? No, I expect some fucking, can you not have any expectations for your friends? Like, is that crazy? Okay.
Eat tweets out, Ethan is shocked that iDubbbz said he needs his ass kicked in the content cop. It attaches this clip.
Use a hug. Now, of course, it kind of pisses me off to hear that shit because I'm like, what are we doing? What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. I think
that
you're a fucking idiot, dude. Why?
You know what's great about
what
this
the fuck
line is that my complaint is about people threatening violence. There's lots of threats of violence against me and my family, and your response is to tell your audience that what I need is to get punched in the face. This guy is this is the new iDubbbz?
Yeah.
This is the new iDubbbz? The punch him in the face guy? I'm flabbergasted by this take. It's just mean-spirited. It's wrong. What do you mean, dude? What? It's just like so disappointing. I don't even know what to say. That line, it's just so disappointing. Wasn't the whole thing? Oh my God. We're gonna have to grab that, Zach, the punch in the face thing.
You got it.
He
man.
needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. I think
By the way, I love how the psychologist was like, you know, this seems pretty fucked up. Like, it sounds like he's going through a lot. Maybe what he needs, instead of being harassed and belittled and dogpiled on, is a little empathy. And he's like, man, fuck that. I want to punch him in the face.
Frida tweets out these two images in the caption. Ethan Klein and his H3 crew took 8 hours to react to a single 1-hour video. This has to be a world record for the longest sustained crash out of all time, right? Aurelian replies, I mean, he is responding to every point like he should. Same thing that Hassan refuses to do with any criticism. I love that the only way to cope with all of that is to call it a crash out and ignore it. Fucking immature if you ask me. Frida Angel replies, it's crazy how many H3 fans just spend their entire day keyword searching to find people to argue with on Twitter. Anytime I tweet about how Ethan Klein is annoying, there will inevitably be some smug, low sentient life form telling me what I'm wrong for disliking. And Blank replies, again, it's the constant utter refusal to dig into the substance of any argument. You just start vaguely gesturing towards, this is crazy behavior lol, and call it a day. Pathetic to see it happen over and over again. Andrew Creel replies to the original post by saying, sounds like a thorough and exhaustive reaction. Wish Hassan would do that for the content nuke. Yeet tweets out, Asmund thinks Ethan has a big D energy for reacting to the content cop alive. Compares it to Hassan's handling of his own content nuke.
No, and also, like, I have to say that I respect Ethan in a way, because Ethan reacted to this content cop right off the rip, immediately, instantaneously reacted to it, whereas Hassan never reacted to Ethan's video about him. And I think Hassan should have reacted to it. I know he's not going to, and I get why he's not going to. I understand it. But at the same time, you know, I've got to admire a guy that, like, a massive video gets put out on you, a content cop, and you immediately live react to it. I mean, you gotta, like, that's big energy, man. It is.
Manic tweets out, if Ethan Klein had any balls, he would collab with Sam Hyde to completely destroy items. Frogan tweets out, Ethan Klein wants to defend Muslims because he's being held accountable in the content cop for continuously being a vile person. Idubs has apologized, shown a genuine change over the last decade, and is literally married to a Muslim woman, by the way. If one of your self-proclaimed close friends made a YouTube video about how shitty you're being, sit back and reflect on that. Ian was so charitable to Ethan and approached it in ways that most don't. The content nuke is not what I described above, considering Hassan and Ian have both reached out to Ethan wanting to talk, and Ethan didn't answer / refuse to do so. And Hassan literally said he would watch the content nuke with Ethan sitting right next to him. T-Money replies, any respect I had for you disappeared after you so callously tried to make Princess Leia your slave, and it's extremely disappointing that you have not learned a thing since then. Scratchpoint replies with this image. Every Cafe replies, because he's being held accountable in the content cop. Backstabbing a friend of 8 to 10 years is accountability now. Being a vile person. Who said American soldiers deserve PTSD a day later said her statement was based and has yet to apologize sincerely. Idubs has apologized. No, what he's doing is a troll's remorse. That's a massive difference. Shows a genuine change over the last decade, not in a good way. Look at the Froggy Fresh situation. Muslim woman. She's 8% and I'm pretty sure she made a video claiming she left it half a decade ago. And Bish OP replies with a thumbnail of Anissa pointing out why I left Islam. Lowdown replies with this image of Anissa, which I have to cut off for YouTube TOS. Muslim woman in question. Ginny quote tweets Frogan by saying, married to a Muslim woman who does a corn and is covered in tattoos? Is her hijab made of cellophane? Does being 8% Lebanese make you a Muslim now? Brandon Buckingham quote tweets Frogan with this clip in the caption. Idubs is literally married to a Muslim woman.
Telling my dad that I'm not Muslim was probably the hardest thing that I've ever done in my whole entire life.
Little Froky comments in our members only Discord. Idubs touched me in inappropriate places. And even has made follow-up videos such as this one and this one where he has talked more about the situation. One of them even mentioning that he got a human skull in his mail. This video is coming up on 30 minutes though, so this is good for a part 1. But if you want to see a part 2, like the video, leave a comment. I'll make one shortly. Shout out to our internet representatives Kiko and Salsaud, and I'll see you in the next episode.